With the rate of violence in our world today, many people have considered learning a martial art as a means of self-defense. And so naturally, many want to know which one is best for them. As you may know, there are quite a number of options you could choose from when it comes to martial arts. But for the sake of today's video, we will be focusing on Kung Fu and how effective it can be in a street fight. So be sure to stick around till the end of the video so you don't miss out on any of the information we'll be sharing. Are you ready? Let's jump right in. Many people have had their opinion about the practicality of using Kung Fu in a real fight. However, it is important that we properly look into this martial art if we are going to answer that question correctly. Kung Fu has remained one of the most popularly known Chinese martial arts since the 1970s. But while Kung Fu is made up of different styles, keep in mind that not all of these styles would be effective in a street fight. This means Kung Fu could be effective for self-defense in a street fight. However, this will solely depend on the style you train in and the techniques used. This becomes much truer when you are up against an untrained fighter. And we say this because skilled fighters are usually aware of what their skills are meant for. So it's really rare to see them attacking or bullying people without cause. There's also the fact that practically all martial arts teach a great amount of discipline and self-control. As they say, with great power comes great responsibility. And so, since martial artists know they have the ability to cripple people with their skills, self-control is one thing they learn early in their training. Now, what does it mean when we say Kung Fu practitioners have the ability to cripple people? It is important to know that Kung Fu is a striking art, even though it isn't the case for all Kung Fu styles. Keep in mind that Kung Fu isn't necessarily a martial art. Rather, it is a general term used in describing all forms of Chinese martial art, some of which include Qigong and Tai Chi, or styles that are majorly for self-defense. These styles offer you strikes and kicks that would make defending yourself in an attack relatively easy. Given that most of these people who attack others on the street aren't skilled, being trained in Kung Fu would almost always give you the upper hand in a fight. The average street attacker is usually about brute force. Kung Fu practitioners, on the other hand, are equipped with a range of techniques, as well as the ability to stay calm in the face of aggression. Therefore, given that you are calmer and have the courage to face such fears, you'd most likely crush any average street fighter you meet as a person trained in Kung Fu. However, in the case where the attacker is also a trained fighter, the outcome of such a fight would be anybody's guess, as you might already be able to predict. This is why we mentioned in the beginning that the effectiveness of Kung Fu in a street fight would depend on the style of Kung Fu used. Which leads us to our next point. One Kung Fu style that is almost always effective is Shaolin Kung Fu. What makes Shaolin Kung Fu super effective is that it focuses on blocks, throws, strikes, and punches. Even more, Shaolin Kung Fu training is done on the ground, which can be very useful in a situation where the fight gets to the ground. In fact, Shaolin Kung Fu encompasses many styles, which can come in handy when challenged to a fight. Therefore, the effectiveness of Shaolin Kung Fu is dependent on the style, the skill of the fighter, the skill of the attacker, and where the fight happens. However, the chances of Shaolin Kung Fu being effective in a street fight are quite high, considering that it combines 4 approaches to fighting. These techniques include hitting, kicking, grabbing, and wrestling. Once a fighter is able to skillfully combine these techniques, you have all that you need to defend yourself when the need arises. Now, besides Shaolin Kung Fu, what other styles of Kung Fu is considered effective? Well, it's safe to say that Luan Ying stands as another effective Kung Fu style. This fighting style combines fighting techniques like elbow strikes, punches, palm strikes, hammer fists, low kicks, and forearm trapping. Luan Ying is considered effective because it allows you to lock up an opponent, hence reducing their chances to defend themselves. In using this style, the fighter adopts a stance that's quite similar to a wrestling stance. So you'll typically bend your knees and arch your back, which puts you in a position to make takedowns and strikes difficult for your opponent. With this style, you hold your hands in front of your face instead of keeping them by your side. This way, your hands serve as protection to your face, making it difficult for your opponent to land strikes on your face. Aside from the hands protecting the face, the knees are also utilized in Luan Ying. For instance, if during a fight the attacker attempts to grab a trained Luan Ying fighter, they'd be met with a knee strike straight to the face. In addition to the fighting moves already mentioned, another thing that makes Luan Ying very effective is that it focuses highly on conditioning. Hence, the body is forced to learn how to be strong and flexible to endure pain. And this is very important because the truth remains that you most definitely will not be able to avoid every hit that is thrown at you. This is why your body has to be taught to withstand pain if you're going to stand your ground and defend yourself. This is also why during Luan Ying training, the practitioners engage in a lot of sparring. Another very important technique implemented by trained Luan Ying practitioners is footwork. This technique is usually very swift and energetic. Its fluid nature also makes it deceptive, making it easy to put off your opponent and catch them unaware in a matter of seconds. This way, you are able to confidently protect yourself and also cause enough harm to your opponent to give you room for escape. Overall, it's safe to say Kung Fu may or may not be effective in a street fight. The effectiveness of Kung Fu, however, is dependent on the style of Kung Fu being implemented. One of the great styles that will be very effective in a street fight is Shaolin Kung Fu. Remember that this style is made up of sub-styles, all of which have a broad foundation of skills necessary for a good fighter. However, the most effective Kung Fu style you definitely wouldn't want to miss out on in a street fight is Luan Ying. So, getting trained in this art for self-defense will be great as you will also be building your body. Remember that it is better to have the training and not need it than to need it and not have it. And with that, we have come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell for more content like this. Or you could as well click this next video and we'll see you there. Thanks very much for watching. We'll see you next time.